Hello and welcome to The Nation. You're with me, Tehmina Kaoosji, coming live from the Banama News Channel studios, and today we have for you an excellent episode. Now, today we're talking about how the profound changes globally in the use of technology require an immediate change in the manner in which we perceive work, and especially soft skills for youth, in particular underprivileged youth who are going into the workforce. So on that note, I have with me an excellent panel live in the studio with me of both grassroots organizations working on the ground in Malaysia to make sure that this becomes a reality, in particular for two very special young girls who are with us today in the studio. Ladies, welcome all to the studio. How are you today?
Great, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. So, Sandra, let me get started off with you. You represent the Soroptimist Ampang International Organization.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit of why Soroptimist decided to get involved with Danutcha's organization, SOLS 24/7.
Well, we have to do projects. That's basically what Soroptimist International is about. And what Soroptimist means sisterhood, and the best of sisterhood. So I'm in the Ampang Club, and we were looking for a project to do this year, and we've been talking about it for a long time. And one of our members put us in touch with SOLS, and we'd already had this idea of helping underprivileged young women and girls to prepare them for the workforce.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So then that's how we got connected with Danu.
Okay, brilliant. So Danu, and as well as, of course, Roha, Jane, welcome to the studios. How are you ladies today?
Great.
Okay, so Roha, you are a senior trainee with SOLS 24/7. Now, what does that actually entail?
Okay, so for us, we start the class at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we start the class first, motivation. After motivation, we have an English class. And then for the class 1, they have soft skill class and also coding class.
Right, I see. So now when we speak about soft skills, moving to you, Danu, as a managing director for SOLS 24/7, why is soft skills the primary focus of what you also try and give to the roughly 100 students at SOLS, who are not just girls but also boys overall?
Exactly. So the thing that we always say, and what we always tell the students as well, there's no point of you gaining all that hard skills or getting a piece of paper if when you actually go into the workforce and you don't have the capability to work in a team, you are not disciplined, or you have problems with conflict resolution or finding a solution. Those are all basically soft skills. And if you don't have that, you're not going to progress very far, or you're going to actually be stagnant in a certain whatever job you do. So soft skills is the base, it is the foundation of your journey in the career world, both personally and professionally.
Right, okay. Now moving into Jane. So Jane, you're originally from Sabah, and in your time with SOLS, can you tell us about what was your reaction when you first heard it's about soft skills? Did you know anything about it?
Actually, when I finished my SPM, I heard it from my uncle, Jeffrey. And
so what was your reaction when you first heard from your
I
uncle?
feel like the first time feel no interested, but I just joined. Then I feel like more interesting on it. Then I keep going.
Right, okay. So what did you learn in the past 2.5 years that moved you from not knowing anything about it, not being interested, to thinking, okay, I think this is having a good impact on me? Was there something that, was there a moment that made you feel, okay, what I'm learning is really important?
Well, the first thing is about English.
Right, okay. Now I must say, the both of you, you girls, you speak great English. So what kind of English language classes do you have at SOLS that help you to slowly build up your confidence? Roha?
For me, like practicing, practicing how the way they teach, and then it is different from the public school. Yeah, because in public school we just learned, and then in SOLS they have their own way to teach. So first they will show us how to do this, and then after that they practicing each other. So we have to like make conversation.
Okay, so in a way they sort of force you to start talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandra, moving back to you. So this program which Soroptimist Ampang conducted was called G Power, and it happened just last month. So tell us about what you really wanted the girls to take away from the few sessions that you had to make it as impactful as you could.
Yes, so we had to employ, so we used sponsorship money, which is badly needed. We used sponsorship money to pay for professional experienced trainers to come in. They came in over 3 days. And basically, we wanted to prepare them for the workforce, bottom line.
Give them job interviews.
Job interview,
right.
Resume writing skills, grooming, branding, self-branding now, that is the buzzword. So, yes. So I think you girls enjoyed the interactive. We had 3 different instructors on the 3 different days, totally different areas and different personalities, and they operated in a different way, so to make it interactive and fun. You enjoyed it, didn't you? These 2 are quite key in rounding up the girls and making sure
Yes, and we're also running some photos from the event on the screen, so that basically shows everything that you all learn. Now, Danu, so what about programs is able to sort of squeeze into the same amount of time that students learn at school, but in a soft skills manner? How do you go about programming?
All right, so just quickly to touch base on what Roha was mentioning regarding the English. How the leeway into that is that we base it very much on speaking and also having that kind of like a very clear formula, so that it just helps them to reprogram how they've learned English previously if they have, or if not, how to quickly how to learn English like how a native speaker learns English from when you're a baby. So we kind of use it in that way. In terms of soft skills, however, we have a program which most of the students tell me is their favorite program.
Okay.
And it's called Science of Life, and they learn it on a daily basis, as well as having a group like a group discussion at the end of the week on a certain topic.
Right, so Science of Life. Jane, can you share with me what that's about exactly? Because we don't know anything about it.
Usually in Science of Life, they explain about life, mostly about life, and also about potential. So we learn a lot about it, so that the students can know more about potential and also about their life, what to do in the future.
Right, so it sounds like your classes are very interactive. Am I right about this, Roha?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are, let's say, doing a Science of Life class, and you as a trainee as well, can you give me an example of a recent class that you helped conduct for Science of Life? What would you usually do in a Science of Life class?
For us, we tell them a story because we have a book. It's called like Science of Life, and then motivation, it is connected. So we have a book to tell the story. So the story is like connected to the real life. Yeah. So the story is to make the students feel like they can believe themselves, how to realize about the importance of education. So
right, how to fix problems perhaps. Okay, great. So coming back to Danu, then so when we speak about what students are learning, let's talk about how they are able to develop some of the core soft skills, in particular self-confidence.
Yes, that is actually one of the first things that we do try to help them to learn, because when they have self-confidence, that's when they actually feel like they can try. When they don't believe in themselves, they won't try at all. So when we want them to do learn new things, self-confidence is the first thing that they learn. And a lot of that is talking about potential, explaining that don't look at don't look at the background of where you're coming from. Think about where you are now and where you want to be in the future. And the thing is, we have amazing teachers who are there with them 24/7. I mean, it's SOLS 24/7, so they're there all the time. And them being a great example and talking to them and just always being around whenever they need someone to talk to is part of, I would say, the magic of why they develop so quickly. Just always been given opportunities. Roha is a senior trainee, so what that means is that she was a student, and then she was given progressively more and more leadership opportunities based on the effort she put in, and now she's reached this stage, and then now it's up to her. Once she passes her senior traineeship,
right,
her next step is anything.
So you literally are given the power to sort of create your world.
Yes.
So we were speaking about potential and future plans. What are yours, Jane? what do you wish to do after you finish studying at SOLS, and how much longer?
Actually, I wanted to continue my study to university.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yay.
Okay, yay. So have you already decided which sort of degree you would like to do or take when you're in university?
Yeah,
Okay, what would you like to do?
I would like to take business course.
I see,
Yeah.
right. So connected to business, why business? It's a pretty common and very popular degree course as well. Why do you want to take it?
Started interesting about this business when my family started a small business.
Right, okay. So what does your family business focus on, if I may ask?
Just selling like the daily routine needs like
Right, back
rice
home in
and
Sabah,
yeah.
right? Okay, so brilliant. So that's one way for you to use what you've learned at SOLS. Now, Roha, as for you, so you are a trainee right now at SOLS. What are your plans for the future?
My plan is I will be continuing in SOLS. I will stay in SOLS, yeah. Because why do I need to stay in SOLS? Because I have my plan, my dream. After I finish, and then I will continue in SOLS. After that, I will open my own center in my village.
Right,
That is
okay.
my dream.
So literally take everything you've learned back home.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Sandra, your reaction to that? How do you feel hearing that from
Well,
Roha?
that's what we want to do. That's why we want to get these girls trained. This was a pilot program. This was an amazing opportunity for us to coordinate because we could get 50 girls in one place, and it's a logistical thing too to bring them in.
Yes,
Had
it
we
could be
had
a
to-
nightmare if
Yes.
you're not
Oh
organized,
yeah, that's
right?
so the next program may not have 50 girls, but we had 50 girls ready to to prepare themselves for the future with soft skills. So it's wonderful when we hear this sustainable angle of yours that you can take it with you. What we would really like is actually how we train the girls. It'd be great if the girls could then train other girls,
Right.
pass it on. That would be amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when it comes to sustainability, Danu, so what about SOLS makes it such a sustainable model whereby you hope that any youth who comes through your doors is able to, in a way, pay back the favor to society as well?
Yeah. So we do have that payback model in a way, something like I think that what Roha is actually doing right now as a senior trainee, because a lot of students, they never had an example back home of what they could be or what they could do or how they could actually break out of whatever their daily routine life is. But when they see people like Jane, like Roha, and we have so many other amazing trainees and now team members back in SOLS that were previous trainees and were previous students. In fact, our director, his name is Teacher Azarun, he was a student in Cambodia, in SOLS Cambodia,
Right.
and now he's the director of the academy. So literally the sky's the limit. You can do whatever your effort is. And that's part of how we are sustainable, to let them empower themselves and also to empower others.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's also necessary that you have your sponsorship as well.
Yes.
You wouldn't survive.
Oh my goodness, no.
And
no.
you've got a lot of if you go and see where they operate, you need office space, training rooms, dormitories.
Yeah.
And who's paying for that? So you need
That's right.
sponsors.
Exactly. So when we look at the wider scope, Roha and Jane, what do you think you learn about leadership from your classes which happen every day? How do you learn to be a leader?
For me, I could see the examples from my friends. So how do they do that? So also I feel like I want to be like them.
Right. So you basically, how many students in a typical class at SOLS? How many students are there in a class?
It's usually like 20 above.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty small classes as well. Okay, so on that note, time for a quick commercial break. We'll head back right after. Thank you so far.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello and welcome back to The Nation. Still with me, Tehmina Kaoosji, and today we're speaking about soft skills to help empower the underprivileged, in particular girls, through SOLS 24/7 as well as Soroptimist Ampang International's program, which was called G-Power. So the ladies with me in the studio, Roha, Jane, you actually went through the program, right? So G-Power was a 3-day intensive workshop. What did you learn about job interviews, Jane, that you think you're really going to remember and use?
The most thing that I remember is how to score at interviews.
Right. Okay. So how do you score at interviews?
It's
I love
like,
that.
So we need to prepare ourselves before,
Yeah.
and so like try to be not to be nervous.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
Roha, what did you like that you learned about? Okay, this is how you make sure you get what you want when you go to an interview.
For me, what I really loved in 3 days training, okay, so it is about to know our character first. Like we have like left brain or right brain. So it is about like which job that we can go after we join that. So
Right.
we have to know which job that is suitable for us.
So did you
Yeah.
find out you're on the right track?
Yeah.
Really?
For,
Okay.
yeah. For me, that's why I'm a teacher. Like I'm a senior, because I got the way seems like I'm a responsible person, and then I'm
Right, so
also,
it sort of makes your interests connect with
Yeah.
how you can work with it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, Danutcha, so moving back in, now how do you try and ensure from a perspective that all of these young people coming out of SOLS, ready to go into the labor force, they are actually able to find jobs? What connections with industry are essential, and what do you hope can be done to ensure this in the years to come?
Understand. So the program, just to give a little bit of background, so the program is SOLS Academy of Innovation. It's actually supported by JP Morgan, and also there's sponsorships given, scholarships from Allianz Malaysia, and they are very particular about ensuring that these students are going to become employable. So after their set amount of months with us, we actually go out. So we work with JP Morgan as well as Allianz Malaysia to see whether there's any organizations or companies or groups that would like to provide them with some job experience, on the job training. And we also, but what we do is we vet every single organization before we send our students there, because it's very important for us that the organizations treat our students well, fairly well, and also give them the opportunity to grow and develop their professional skills before they return for their final few months, last few exams, and then out into the world they go. And we do have a lot of connections with companies who are actually looking for students in very particular fields such as IT, solar. So we also do solar PV technician skills.
I see.
So that's a very specialized.
It's very
industry.
sustainable as
yes,
well.
and it's very specialized. So those are we already have connections there for people who are waiting for our students to graduate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
So, Jane, for example, now what are some skills that you are learning right now at SOLS? You are going to go to university after SOLS as well, but which skills do you think are really going to help you once you are in university and when you get a job?
I think it's like English, also JPK.
Okay, can you explain to me what JPK is?
JPK is mostly about IT, computer, so like fixing the computers, PCs.
Computer system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So when you're able to actually fix your own computer, for example, how does that give you confidence to go into the workplace? Like you're able to actually fix your own computers and things like that. So how do you think that's important to also getting yourself a job perhaps in the future? Yeah.
Because I think so in terms of some of our students, they don't want to opt for the JPK, so they opt for the project management or teaching, which is what Roha has been opted for, and some of them do opt for the JPK or the solar. So because some students have already a very clear goal, like I want to go and do something, so it wouldn't make sense for them to join a stream which doesn't
reflect
their main goal. So
Right.
I think Roha is in the project management and teaching
Right,
stream.
okay. So moving back to Sandra, now let's speak a little bit more about some of Soroptimist's upcoming programs for the remainder of the year. So G3 is a one-off pilot program. What would you hope to be able to do, judging from the response that you got from G3?
Well, we want to be able to go to other homes and underprivileged areas and find more girls, young women, where we can fine-tune this. This was just a pilot program. I think the girls loved it. It was 50 girls, so we had a cross-section of interests. Some of them wanted to be models, some of them wanted to be IT specialists or business, and it was so interesting. So we'd like to do this further with other underprivileged girls. We have to find them, and hopefully it can be a sustainable thing that we can continue to do. We also are hoping, for example, the company that we employed to train these girls over the 3 days, that they can even assist with job placement as well.
In the long run as well. Okay. Now, moving the focus slightly to the current political and social situation in Malaysia, which is, of course, we are currently under a new government. So post General Election 14. Sandra, Danu in particular, what are some of your hopes that the Pakatan Harapan government will be able to enact so that underprivileged girls, women and youth are really in the spotlight that they deserve?
Where can we start?
Let's start with education.
Education, my favorite topic. Well, I think the first thing is, of course, as much as possible to ensure that there is... Okay, so I think some of the things that was done previously by the previous government was amazing in terms of, I think, some programs that they introduced to certain schools. Now that was really good, and I think that was, it really gave a boost to the students in those schools. However, my concern is that, okay, so these schools are great, but how about the schools that didn't get it? Because that's when the gap becomes wider and wider, because now certain students are getting this extra benefit of programs and those don't. So finding a way to actually make it a level playing field for students all over, no matter where they're coming from.
Right.
So Roha,
boys and girls.
Because if the boys are educated, then they're going to support the girls, and it's going to be equality. Hopefully the new government will realise that places like East Malaysia are being neglected. Soroptimist International in the Southwest Pacific region, we're doing a water project. There are villages in East Malaysia that don't have water. Can you imagine? You're a Malaysian and you don't have access to water. Now, if the women have clean water, they'll have safe births, they'll have healthy families, they can work more. So it helps everybody. So I'm hoping that the new government will think, wow, we're a wealthy nation in Malaysia, and why don't we have water? A basic need.
Exactly. So it helps to look at the broader dominance. So Roha, you've been shaking your head in agreement, right? Okay. So can you just, before we go off, Roha, Jane, can you share with me, why do you think education really is the most important thing that has been in your life?
Okay. So for me, why do I think education is very important? Because if we want to move our life, if we want to be a successful person, of course we have to start with the education, good education. Because especially we are orang asli, so we are not really realized about education. So when we come out from the kampung, from the village, when we come out from the village, so that we can make the example for the other people, our community, like me. So I want to really make them realize about the importance of education.
Brilliantly said. So ladies, unfortunately that's all we have time for today. Jane, would you like to end with something else about why this is so important, not just for you, but everybody back at home?
So for me, education is very important, especially for the youth, because nowadays most people they have nothing to do, they cannot further their study to the university or to the Form 6. So they have nothing to do, just
no direction,
at home.
really.
Yeah, no direction. So education makes before it makes me very, very open. I can see
all the possibilities.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Roha. Thank you, Jane. All right, ladies. So this has been a brilliant discussion. We wish you all the very best, not just SOLS, but especially Soroptimist Ampang. Ladies, all the best with the future as well. Do keep us in touch and updated with what you've been doing. All right, so there you have it. A little bit of a look at how soft skills are playing a role in developing not just the underprivileged youth, but in particular our Orang Asli in Malaysia. I'm Tehmina Kaoosji signing off for the nation. See you again next time. Right. Okay.